I'm going back to go forward. And I appreciate everything that you're saying about the community, which is really a big part of what we want to get at. But I want you to fill in the blanks. You are, you're a club promoter, you're pragmatic, you discovered Dr. Dre, and you put together a group. You start getting on tours, you actually got a record deal, and all of these other things. So let me know when it got crazy, like, I can't believe this is happening. And then let me know when it got scary, like you started drawing attention from elements that knew that you were making money and some of the things that happened in the entertainment business. Fill that in for me. Like, wow, this is when this is really getting real.
We realized that it was crazy for us, man. It was interesting when we went to Dallas, Texas one day, and we were playing in Texas. We got there a day early, and we just walking through the mall like we do, because see what they got different they don't have in LA.
Right.
And we looked back, and it was like 10 people following us. And look back a few minutes later, it was like 20, 30 people following us. Like 50 people following us. Like, what the hell is going on? We got a whole mob following us, man.
Wow.
What's going on? We might want to get up. We had to run like the Beatles, man. And security had to put us into a closed store, and people was trying to get in. We didn't know whether they was mad or what, but it was the wrecking crew was in town, and they wanted to get at us for a good reason. And I'm like, damn, we didn't know we were bigger. We've always been bigger outside of Los Angeles. Sure. We've always been bigger outside of Los Angeles. And when you went down south back then, because they had no one at that time, you just, your whole persona just magnified 1,000 times. So that situation was crazy. I've had people offer me all kind of crazy ass deals. It has its ups and downs and ebbs and flows. And I think when I was at McCullough.
Right. And that's the label that distributed you, right?
Huh?
That's the label that distributed you, right? McCullough?
Yeah, McCullough was our distributor. Right. And he had made a new deal with some new partners. Right. And they wanted a piece of my record, Turn Off the Lights. And we did a deal. We started doing a deal, but the deal wasn't right. And I didn't sign the contract. And they still gave me the check, but I hadn't signed the contract yet. Right. And I did a licensing deal while I was waiting for them to get me a new contract. And I'm like, why am I missing money? Because why am I missing money if we ain't got a deal yet? If y'all don't do the deal, I'm just missing money for no reason. And it wasn't an exclusive deal. It just was a licensing deal. And man, shoot, I got a phone call one night that changed my life. One morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, LA time, I get a phone call and real raspy voice. Yes, Lonzo Williams. Yes, can I help you? Yes, my name is so-and-so. I'm from back east. I'm going to say it like that. And I understand we've given you some money for your project and you sold it to someone else. And I just want to let you know, if you were here in back east, that people like you end up in the river or something like that.
Wow. Good fellas, brother. Good fellas.
I appreciate that those business practices on this side of the country. And I stood up and hold on. I'm saying, wait a minute, what are you talking about? He explained to me what happened. I explained to him, I said, can I have the floor for a minute, sir? I'm really being respectful. I don't want no misunderstandings. I said, look, the person that you is doing the business, I explained to him I couldn't sign this contract. I explained to him I didn't want the check. He told me to keep the check anyway. Okay. I told him I was going to do this deal. And for you to come at me like this right here, I said, I'm threatened for no reason. I didn't do anything. I said, you're a man. And he did. I said, you know how your man is. And I says, it's real hard to get a word in edgewise when he gets on the roll. And I've been trying to explain this to him forever. And the dude apologized, man. He apologized. But I still was scared as hell. I still was scared. And from that point on, I made the point, when I go to McCullough, I'm carrying my pistol with me. Okay? Because if bullets start flying, they're gonna be going both ways. Now, I never claimed to be a gangster. I ain't know what I do, but I'm like any man, self-preservation is always high on my priority list. Okay? And that was one of the things I had to deal with. And we're not talking about some local cats. We're talking about some guys who some real soprano type dudes. Okay. Now I don't know if I would have. I'm not trying to claim badass. That ain't what I'm doing. I'm just saying, as a man with the thoughts of self-preservation on his mind, the first thing came to me was always, when you go to McCullough, always be ready to go for it to go down.
Right. Wow. That's amazing.
None of these stories can Dre or anybody tell me. They were gone by now. Okay.
Right. Sure.
And I think one of the things that I suffer from is that we did not come up together. They're a lot younger than I am.
Dre, Ice Cube too. Ice Cube, you helped him get his first single deal, right?
Ice Cube was like 15 or 16 when he came to me. He was like 15 or 16. So if I'm 15, if he's 15, I'm 27. Okay. So when I got Eve After Dark at 22, he's 12. 10. I'm sorry, he's 10. So they don't know the Lonzo that was out in the streets doing mobile parties, doing parties in the picnics in the park. They don't know that Lonzo. They know the Lonzo that was the baller with the big house that, they could come to the club and go to the party, go to doodles. They don't know the Lonzo. They don't know the grind king. Okay. They don't know the king of the grind. They don't know nothing about that right there. So because they weren't a part of that. They saw the record grind. They saw the some of the club grind, but never saw the roots of what made this thing crack. And they never really dealt with Uncle Jam's Army like that. I mean, me and Roger went back to 1977 together. And they don't know the transition from Disco Construction to Wreckin Cru. They don't know the transition from Unique Dreams Entertainment to Uncle Jam's Army. All they know is Uncle Jam's Army and Wreckin Cru.
What's interesting is there's this connection, Lonzo, between, first of all, there's more than 10 years of history before NWA ever exists. There's, what you're doing, clubs, putting out songs. You've got a relationship with Greg Mack at 1580K Day. You got the relationship with Jerry Heller, which helped Easy connect the dots. But what's interesting, too, is in terms of this genre transition, you went from Disco Lonzo to this other thing. And so disco was transitioning away at this time when you get going. And in fact, I guess we don't need to look any further than even the record Good Times by Chic, which was produced by Nile Rodgers, who was a disco king. That's what was used to do Rapper's Delight. You know what I mean? There's this transition going on that you are actually it's almost like you got one foot on one side of the bridge and another foot on the other side of the bridge.
That's what I'm trying to say. I've been walking on both sides of the bridge for the last 40 years, 50 years. Okay. When the transition came out, when I first started playing records, it was all disco. Donald Summers, Bee Gees, and some R&B. Okay. Some little R&B. Now all of a sudden, then funk come into the play. You got Cameo, Parliament Funkadelic, Slave, all that come into play. This is the height of my DJ career out in the streets. So I'm juggling all these different sounds at one time, and then of course Chic comes into play again with Rapper's Delight. It's 1979, and I'm playing that at Eve After Dark, and that's the bomb. And then all of a sudden. But Chic ain't singing. Ain't no girls on this one right here. This is all three guys. I'm like, damn. So when you look back, and I tell people, I have as a person, I've experienced the Motown era. I grew up in Motown. I grew up on Philly International. I grew up on the Dramatics. I grew up on Smokey and Temptation and Intruders. I grew up on that. So when I hear the samples that these guys are grabbing or recreating to make this, I know where it came from the first time. So, and then when you are a music lover, you're not limited to just R&B. You like some Blue Eyed Soul, okay? The Doobie Brothers, Hall and Oates. All these people are a part of my musical format as a DJ because I'm playing not only for Black folks, and because even then, Black folks was into that too. If there was a radio station we had in LA called, two of them. One was called Cute 102 and one was called K-Ace. You didn't know what was going to come up on the turntable.
103.9 K-Ace. Yep.
103.9 in the case. You didn't know what was, you had no idea what was going to be played. All you knew was going to be good, though. Okay? And that was my musical foundation. And then, but music is still evolving as we kept playing. When I got into the game, I couldn't have gotten into the, I couldn't afford to get into the music game on a standard level. What I mean by that is, if I had to hire drummers, guitar players, bass players, horn players to do my music, I probably couldn't afford to do it because it took money and took time to do that. You had to practice that stuff. But when the digital age hit, you can hire one guy with a bunch of keyboards and a sequencer and play all that stuff together. And now I can go to the studio and make a song in a matter of minutes, pay one guy. Okay. And it just made that whole process, the digital era, made it able for me to be in the game. It brought the cost of music down. And because I wasn't totally broke, even though it's not as cheap as it is right now, it made it affordable.